So we're here in Steamtown in Scranton, Pennsylvania, October 22nd, 2023. There's my dad in front of the big boy. Say hello.
Hello. Look behind you, the steam train's coming.
Yeah, it's too far away. Yeah, it's too far away. But anyway, let's take a look. So this is my favorite big boy. I know a lot of people like the 4014, but the 4012 is my favorite. I saw it when I was about 4 or 5. There's the back. $24,000 gallons. My goodness. Well, Dad's going up in the cab. Let's go with him. So when I was here, they didn't let you in the cab. So this is the first time for me. And Dad. Wow. Oh, is the tender empty?
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, that's good.
You can go in it though, right?
Yeah.
Oh my God! Wow. Look at that. That would be filled to the brim with coal.
You won't believe the dials.
Oh, there's two doors. Look at that. Look at that. Can we see him? Not much. So coming to the cab. Oh man, everything's painted beautifully. Look at this. Wow. And I assume that's the whistle. There's the throttle, right? Or one of the, that's the throttle. No, wait, which? That's the throttle. I think that's the change direction, if I remember correctly. I think that's the brake. I'm probably wrong, so just correct me in the comments. All that. Man, you'd have to remember what everything does. There's no labels.
Holy mackerel.
Firebox.
Stoker, left stoker, stoker booster.
Kind of wish they had a light in there so I could see. Hold on, let me see if I can. Oh yeah, wow. Cool. I'm assuming that's what carries the water and it gets heated in those pipes. That's pretty cool. What?
I gotta be careful what I touch.
Well, I don't think it's gonna do anything.
No, I can't see though.
Yeah, you'll see it on the video. It's really, I could only see it on the camera. I couldn't see it with my eyes.
No?
No. Oh, I wonder if you think the window opens?
Ryan, say hello.
Hello.
Oh, I don't got it on video. I should.
Oh, video is better if you take sideways. Because then I can use it. Hello.
How are you?
Very good. First time in the big boy.
Yeah, it's very nice. It's kind of crazy.
I wish the window opened. I would really like to. I got it sealed shut. Reach for the throttle. This is what you'd see if you were driving the big boy. Pretty cool. So I noticed some of them actually are labeled on the fireman side. Stoker booster, Stoker JL. Not sure what that stands for. Is that left front? Huh. Interesting.
That's crazy.
There she is. Union Pacific 4012.
You had somebody that could design and build that. Man.
It's crazy how big the Tuffman is.
1941? Is that what the nameplate says? Yeah, 41. November 1941. Schenectady.
Size rods. Alright, so here we have Reading T1. Look at this beauty. Man. We really need to get out and see the 2101 Iron Horse Rambles. Because this is a beautiful locomotive. So I was walking over towards the gift shop and I spotted this tank engine. Finally get to see a real one. Look at that. That's awesome. Wish it was in better shape. Maybe they'll restore it one day, hopefully. So this is inside the Roundhouse. Got a Lehigh Valley observation car. Go ride the train. Check this more out later. So these are the cars that I got at York. Actually, the exact one. I don't know about the number, but they say Central Railroad of New Jersey. So I am very excited to see these and ride them. Beauty, yo. If the two cars that we got are the same number, I'm going to lose. And watch your step. So Metka is actually making this engine. And of course now I want it because it's pulling Central Railroad New Jersey cars at Steamtown. Wish I had a lens I could zoom in it. Here's what it is.
Pretty good.
is the Central Italy, New Jersey passenger car. And they're like, I probably rode this when I was a kid, but I don't really remember. So to see it again as an adult is very nice. Hope you guys can hear me because it's kind of windy. An old scrap. So this is the combine. Look, they got the wheelchair access. That's nice. Very good. Very good. Yes. This is where all the baggage will go again? The extra baggage.
You filming?
Yeah.
Good.
Oh, look at this. What? Oh, it's warm. Wow.
Take your hood down.
I didn't think a car like this would have heat.
No, they have heat. You can see the heating on by the ground.
Oh yeah, it's got the old
Oh no,
baseboard.
he said to go all the way to the
Right? The old baseboard.
Yep. This is the seats I had when I was young, right?
Oh, I would love to take this to work.
Right, this is what I used to have.
Yeah.
Going to Newark. Same stuff, maybe the same car.
Silas. Silas. There's a sign right there that says spitting is forbidden. You can't spit in here.
Oh, this one might not be heated.
Now you're just going through the outside. Gotta go through the cars.
Oh, that's hot.
Oh, it's heated.
Look at that, that's hot. Go ahead.
It's heated.
Right. Woo. Oh, you gotta go all the way to the front.
I will.
I guess they took down the other for the luggage.
Yeah.
It was in the other car.
Yeah.
This car is not as nice.
Don't be scared, Tommy.
It's still very nice, but just the other car was like it was.
I'm liking it.
You getting warm over there?
You want to sit?
Yeah.
Hey, Anna.
Got the old lights. How are you?
Take the seat.
We all know you now.
Good job.
Everybody knows you. You're gonna have to work for the railroad, though.
Oh.
How much? $18 an hour
No, they gotta make more than
in
that.
benefits. I don't know. What do you make? You volunteer?
Yeah.
You're a volunteer. Thank you for doing it. How about there?
Here's our conductor, Anna.
Can we?
All aboard.
I want to get in the window.
Good job, good job.
Okay, yeah.
Let me get. Oh, behind you, Dad.
Oh, go ahead.
All right.
You want to sit here?
The window's all fogged up.
The engine.
Do you have something to wipe it?
There's paper towel on the seat.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, every car has an emergency brake. Look at those. They're all wrapped up.
Yeah, protecting them.
That's good. Oh, that's a snowplow. Look at.
Come on, Mike. He's going to sit here. I'll take
Wow.
No, I want you right there. That's perfect spot.
We got a leak.
Do we? Yeah. In the ceiling?
Yeah, somewhere. A leak, maybe.
Oh, the.
Steam pipe. As soon as they hook, they heat the cars up.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Well, you figure it's probably when were these made, these parts?
These are from the 30s.
From the 30s.
Yeah.
Damn.
That's cool.
90-year-old car. You can't build these now to last 90 years.
Well, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is David Albert. I'm one of the park rangers here at Steamtown National Historic Site. I do have a very simple safety message, and it's just to remain seated for the duration of the journey. This very thick concrete floor provides us a nice smooth ride, but it's not really something you want to bump into. Now the goal for a good portion of our journey is to be on a different set of trackage than we are on right now. We want to be on a set of railroad tracks over by the mall siding by the Steamtown Mall. That's off to my left. I'm facing towards the locomotive at the moment. Now in order to facilitate that, what the train crew is going to help the engineer navigate through are several switches. And I'm going to let you in a little secret. Sometimes when the engineer is backing up the train, he can't see where he's going. Now, let not your heart be troubled. We have a way to do this safely and effectively. So here and there along our journey, you may look off to your right, you'll look off to your left, and you'll see various crew members utilizing hand signals. At other times when we're backing up, the conductor is serving as eyes for the engineer. He's using a special length of measurement, that being a train car. A train car is about 60 to 70 feet approximately, depending on the era of the particular car. So the communication might be somewhat like this. You have two train car lengths, train car and a half of a train car length, etc. If that communication stops at any point, the engineer will simply stop the train until there's clear communication, indicating a clear line of sight. Now, this is our one running steam locomotive that we are running today, and it is an engine from 1929. The cars that we're sitting in are from the 1920s and 30s era. Now here at Steamtown, we only have 5 full-time machinists working on a locomotive machine shop. They do a little bit of everything. So they keep the steam locomotive running. The brakes, for instance, that we have for these cars, they'll adjust the brakes, they'll put new brakes on, they'll work on fixing those cars. In addition to that, we have a locomotive that they're working on, a steam locomotive from 1934. So they wear many different hats, and as you can imagine, there's a variety of different shifting priorities depending on what's occurred on any one day. If you look off on the left, you'll see several cars that are wrapped in plastic. They're wrapped in plastic because they started a project on those. Some of our pressing projects came up, and we don't have a lot of indoor storage, so that plastic wrap on the outside is keeping the weather elements out of it, at least for the time being. Now there are portions of our yard that you may walk through. Just don't walk beyond any white signs that say authorized personnel only. And if you do decide to walk through the rail yard, bear in mind it's an active rail yard. It's not just our equipment that's coming through. We share this trackage with the Delaware Lackawanna, a short line freight company. So they may also be moving equipment through our yard. If you look off to the left here, you will see the Mall Bridge. It's a pedestrian bridge that takes you to the Steamtown Mall. Architecturally, what that mirrors is where the coal trestle was. So imagine a locomotive coming into our yard 100 years ago after doing a run. They would work on it in the Roundhouse, and after doing that, you of course want to leave with some fuel. So there would be little chutes that would come off of the coal trestle. You would drop coal into the tender. We have water towers that were here in this yard, so you could put water into that tender and leave with the fuel that you needed. Now currently what we are doing is we are backing up towards Bridge 60. That is the bridge that was directly above you as you drove into our parking lot today. And the reason for backing up towards Bridge 60 is they need to move a couple switches to facilitate us moving on to a set of trackage off on the left or over on the far siding. You can see one of our train crew members off to the right there utilizing hand signals. All these train crew members are working in tandem with one another. At certain times they're able to see what other train crew members, and maybe more specifically the engineer, can't see at a given time.
I don't know what that is.
Yeah.
This is so embarrassing. We're out of fuel, folks. We're gonna have to get out and push on this thing. They moved a couple of switches, and that's allowing us to get onto a city track.
Stops and picks up the fuel, right? Yeah.
So I just asked a question in a car that I'm in here. If you look off on the left there, you're going to see a couple of diesel electric engines, and they're ones that the Delaware Lackawanna utilize. They're a short line freight company. They move freight through here. And a lot of their Alco engines are a good 60 to 70 years old. So they often will buy engines from railroads that are getting rid of engines, and they do one of two things with those engines. They will either utilize those parts if the engine's in for repair that they have purchased, or they will restore it and get it into running order. You can see a couple of modern freight cars off on the left. Actually, the ones on the right as well here. And those are ones that the Delaware Lackawanna is moving through the yard, or will be moving through the yard. They're off on side tracks, and that's just a common railroad practice. Whether we're talking about 100 years ago or today, if you don't have a train going to a specific place, you do a little bit of switching. Some of that switching is because you need the cores in a specific order depending on where you're dropping them off. Sometimes it's just you need them out of the way for the train. They are coming through. They're going to be punching some of those tickets. Certainly hold on to that ticket, folks. It is a good souvenir. But also what I will let you know is we have another ride at 2:30. As long as we have space, you are welcome to come back and ride on the 2:30 ride as well with that same ticket. I have had days when we were short-staffed, and I've done the narration for all 4 rides, and we have had people that took all 4 rides. I think they just enjoyed taking the train ride. I don't think I had park service groupies or anything. If you look off to the left, just beyond the Scranton Police Department, you'll see several buildings that were used by the Delaware, Lackawanna, and Western. They were the railroad that utilized this particular yard, and those buildings are owned by the National Park Service. The building across the street, this large building, that was the old erecting shop that was used by the Delaware, Lackawanna, and Western. Currently, it's owned by the Department of Defense, and their shell cases made for munitions. But the erecting shop is one of the biggest buildings here in Scranton, right here. And you can work on over 40 engines at the same time in the erecting shop, much like it sounds like. You took engines entirely apart every 5 years, replacing things like the ladder jumps and anything else that was broken, and you put the whole engine back together. So steam locomotive spent 40% of its life being worked on. Very high maintenance. And coming up on the left-hand side, this raised area, is the old Roundhouse passenger station. It is currently a hotel today. Beautiful stained glass in there. There's mosaic tiles featuring pictures of places where the Lackawanna traveled to. Sound like items you would like to have a view of. When you leave our parking lot today, you'll physically be on Cliff Street. When Cliff Street ends, you'll be looking at Lackawanna Avenue, hang a right. And as you're driving down Lackawanna Avenue, as the road takes a bend, side is the University of Scranton. And what will come into view is the old Scranton family brothers moved here to make things out of metal. One of the things they made were railroad tracks that they sold to train railroads. Ultimately, that family realized that there was something far more valuable that they could be working on. See, their competitors made a much better product. Unfortunately, there was anthracite coal underground here. And that was something that was shipped out of Scranton on a massive scale. 100 years ago, there were 5 railroads converging upon Scranton, Pennsylvania to ship anthracite coal out of here. People utilize it to heat their homes. And people don't want to be cold in the winter, just like us today. The decline starts in the 1950s era. People start heating their homes with things like home heating oil. At the very end of the 1950s, there's a major mining disaster known as the Knox Mine disaster. There were miners mining under the Susquehanna River. They did not leave enough of the ceiling. The water rushed in. Most of these mines were interconnected and flooded. And metaphorically speaking, that put the final nail in the coffin of an industry already on the decline. Now, I'm often asked today, do they still do coal mining here in Lackawanna County? The answer is yes, on a much smaller scale. As opposed to going into mine shafts. And most of that coal is utilized locally and is delivered locally. So there's a company out of Carbondale, Pennsylvania. They have a small dump truck. It's probably on an F350 or 450 frame. And on the side of it, it says something to the effect of we deliver coal locally. One of my colleagues that I work with is a native Scrantonian. He's lived here for about 55 years here in the city, and I asked him if he had any relatives that needed their homes with Scranton outside of Scranton in Lackawanna County. He said, oh yes. And most of them, he said, lived in more rural areas, utilized coal. Got delivered to their house. He says, gives off a great deal of heat. So it's a nice way to heat your home. It's a little bit different than the coal that we are utilizing today for this engine. The engine that we are utilizing uses bituminous coal. And probably, as you can see, it certainly generates a certain amount of smoke. And that's because it doesn't burn quite as hot. Coal isn't quite as hard as anthracite coal. Fireboxes for engines will be specifically configured depending on the coal that they are burning. That's for a maximum type of airflow. It's good that you folks have joined us on Sunday. Sunday is one of the few days that we go all the way up to Neon Gorge. And the great thing about where we'll be stopping briefly by Neon Gorge is it's one of the only places I can think of where you'll actually be seeing the gorge from the specific angle we're able to see it from. You are able to walk around some walking paths that you have by Neon Gorge, but none of them give you quite this particular angle that we will be at. We should be arriving there fairly shortly. They'll stop there briefly so that from the cars that we're in, you'll be able to stand up, take a picture. safe to walk about in the respective cars that you're in. If you do want to just get a picture of the gorge here, this is the only place where you're going to actually see the gorge from this angle. There's no place where you'll be walking around on those walking paths day off where you'll see it quite like we get to see it here.
Look. That's so cool.
That's pretty high. That's
Why don't they use wood to protect it?
I can just stand up.
That's a really old tree. Isn't that cool? That's a really old tree. No, that's really cool.
We're good. Thank you.
Here comes the work in the punch our tickets, I think.
He already punched them.
You got it? No, you didn't punch mine.
Yeah, I gave him all 3.
That's awesome.
See the hole?
There's someone up there. Look.
Yeah. Very nice.
Like to model that. Huh?
Yeah.
I'll take some pictures so I can get enough details. Take it of the trees and the bushes and the stone with a good camera, okay?
That's pretty cool.
Oh, look, it's Henry's tunnel.
All Henry could do was to watch the trains rushing through the other tunnel.
Good job.
Yes, I remember that.
We're on the way down. And on the way down, let's go see.
There's that tree in Baldwin. It's kind of similar to this kind of a tree. Okay, we don't
Now we're heading back.
Save that? Wow, you can park right up there and come down those steps.
Yeah, I see. Fellow Railfanning.
Now, in order to get us on the section of trackage we're on right now, our train crew, of course, manually moved several switches today. Well, 100 years ago, this was a very busy yard, and they had electro-pneumatic switches. With those electro-pneumatic switches, they had several switching towers. The tower on the right here was one of those towers, a Madison Street tower made out of concrete. And for the busier sections of this yard and other yards that the Lockwood own, they tend to make their towers out of a concrete material like that. For places that were slower and they didn't know would necessarily get busier traffic, they tended to make those towers out of wood. That Magistrate Tower, National Park Service actually owns for some of our special events. We'll actually tour people through that particular tower. Now, if you look off on the right where we began our journey, you'll see several of those smaller concrete rings. Those smaller concrete rings were retaining walls for diesel tanks. When the railroad had gone over to diesel electric engine, the tanks are no longer, but still have those retaining walls. That yellow tower there was a sand tower. Locomotives use sand for traction when they're starting off, or during the fall season, for instance, when leaves fall on the track. So if you look off on the right here, you'll see the New York Central car there, and we're using steam heat today. So think about when they transitioned over to diesel electric engines, you could utilize steam. So you either had to generate steam and have a little generator to generate that steam, little boiler in your diesel engines, or you'd have a separate car that would generate steam. Because as you can well imagine, railroads that had transitioned over to diesel electric engines still had a bunch of cars that they purchased. They don't want to replace all those cars. Like any business today that buys things that are extraordinarily expensive, you tend to amortize that cost over a number of years. Railroads did the same thing with their cars, and even their steam locomotives were amortized over 20 years on their books.
Railway Valley Railroad.
So as we're backing up towards Bridge 16 and then moving a couple of switches, I'll take an opportunity to talk a little bit about advertising that the Lackawanna did, because in a short amount of time we'll have a nice visual aid I get to do that. So at the turn of the 20th century, the Lackawanna approached a New York City advertising firm. It's called Calkins and Holden. And they tasked them with creating an advertising campaign that would talk about how their engines were much more clean burning and people's clothes would not get dirty, or as dirty, because they were using anthracite coal, and that it was safe for women to travel alone. Well, they came up with a fictional New York socialite named Phoebe Snow, and jingles like her gown remaining white from morn to night on the road of anthracite. They're pointing that term, road of anthracite. Well, the name Phoebe Snow ended up showing up on the side of boxcars ultimately as the campaign was utilized over 60 years. And the name road of anthracite even ended up cropping up on their coal hoppers. So what will come into view in a little bit is a coal hopper from about 100 years ago, the term road of anthracite on the side of it. What's coming into view on the right-hand side is a little consist or freight. That means it consists of a whole bunch of different cars. And what will come into view here, folks, on the right-hand side, you have one of our hoppers there with the road of anthracite term right on the side there. If you've walked through our history museum today, you may have seen some posters that have Phoebe Snow on them. Likewise, if you've walked through our bookstore today, we have several postcards with copies of those posters. And if you haven't done that yet in your visit, well, those are 2 stops that are certainly worth making. Historically, steam power was a type of power utilized for a variety of things. Initially it comes about because they needed to pump water out of mines. Ultimately, later on, it's utilized for steam locomotives like the one we're using today. There were farmers who had tractors also powered by steam. We also have a couple of pieces of equipment here in the park that were powered by steam. So we have a crane that was powered by steam. In just a moment, as they back up, it'll come into view. It'll be on the left-hand side, and it was used by the New Jersey Central. And as we return to the place that we started, I'll point out another piece of equipment, a rotary snow plow from 1898, also powered by steam. So it's simply a method of power that was historically utilized. When I mention steam power today, it's far more common for somebody to think about either a steam locomotive or a steamboat, and it was simply a method of power altogether. So if you're in my car, what's about to come to view here on the left-hand side is that crane that I referred to, used by the New Jersey Central. And if you're in the car in front of me, well, I'm sorry, you just have to wait.
Just let him leave a message.
And what's about to come to view on the left-hand side, just beyond the green shed here on the left-hand side, is a rotary snowplow from 1898 used by the Long Island Railroad. The markings are more visible on the other side of that piece of equipment. It is in a section of the yard where you may walk up to it if you would like to. Just practice safety. Don't do things like stand in the middle of the railroad gauge because there's active equipment that's coming through. Do remain seated for just a moment. Some there's a jolt as they set the brakes here. It is safe to walk about. We thank you so much for joining us, and you will be exiting towards the back of the train here.
Hello. How's it going?
Good.
Thank you for the ride.
Oh, you're welcome. Want to come up and take a look?
I would. Can I?
Sure you can. Just be careful.
All right.
Hands here, and the steps are slippery, so go slow.
Oh, wow, look at this. Oh, thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome. It's a steam engine. It can't hurt you any more up here than it can down there, you know, so it's not no problem.
Yeah, this is a pretty safe place, right?
Yeah. Hey, give me a second, I'll let you come out too if you want, you know, one at a time. And this is a fire here, this is an automatic door. There you go. Some marshmallows, we can have a lot of fun.
Yeah. Thank you.
That's the energy that carried you and this whole train up the hill. Right?
Yep.
And take a seat in the engineer's seat if you want. And of course, if you're going to sit there, you got to grab that whistle.
I can?
Oh, sure, man. Loud.
Thank you. I've wanted to do that all my life. I wanted to do that all my life.
All right, buddy.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks for visiting today.
Oh, pleasure. We'll be back.
All right.
All right.
Watch your step. Oh, you should go the other way.
Go the other way?
Yeah, turn around.
Yeah.
And grab with two hands.
There we go.
There you go.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Oh,
You outdid yourself there, buddy. That was a whole lot of hoot hoot.
Yeah.
Oh, you opened the firebox for us?
Yeah, he opened it for me.
For you too?
Yeah.
that's a big rock.